After 3 incredible weekends, including a record-breaking Japanese Grand Prix, the young Kimi Antonelli can no longer be ignored. Expert opinions have compared him to a young Sebastian Vettel, perhaps even similar to Max Verstappen. Now, Antonelli seems hell-bent on beating teammate George Russell, and if Mercedes gives him a competitive car, the Italian will soon inject himself into the title fight between Lando and Max. Let's look at why Andrea Kimi Antonelli can no longer be ignored and what makes this 18-year-old the best rookie on the current Formula One grid. The rise of Kimi. The little Italian maestro hails from the Italian town of Bologna, where Kimi Antonelli was born in 2006. A little math would suggest that despite his incredible performance, the young Italian is by far the youngest driver on the current F1 grid, despite his driving style resembling an experienced veteran like Sebastian Vettel. Kimi had an interest in motorsport from a very young age, but this is mostly due to his father's influence. Marco Antonelli was unlike any other father, well, aside from Jos Verstappen, but he is a current GT driver who just recently competed in the 2024 Italian GT Championship for the AKM team. Adding to his love for motorsport is the fact that the Antonelli family actually operated Antonelli Motorsport, a team that competed in the Blancpain GT series while having a strong showing in the Porsche Super Cup. Much like the other big names of the sport, Kimi had a very young start to his career. The young Italian first entered karting at age 7, winning numerous junior championships, often punching way beyond his natural age group. Thanks to these incredible performances, Kimi quickly found a home when he was signed to Minardi at the age of just 8 in 2014. However, the move opened massive doors for the young star. The Minardi injection was much needed, spurring Kimi on to his first relevant karting title. This was winning the 2015 Trofeo EasyKart Italia 60cc class. The performance put Antonelli on the map, where he'd go on to shock the fans with a decent result at the EasyKart International Grand Final later in 2015. As this was going on, a young Max Verstappen was creating the blueprint for young F1 drivers to follow, especially if they wanted to enter the sport at such a young age. Antonelli definitely took notice. As Kimi aged, the competition also increased and the young Italian had to ramp up his performances. While he wasn't winning so frequently, a string of top 3 finishes in the Italian Cup and WSK Master Series in 2017 had Formula One teams taking notice of his incredible performances. This opened the door for none other than Mercedes, who swooped in, signing the young Italian in early 2018. He would be placed in the Junior Developmental Program. Mercedes immediately placed him in the Rosberg Racing Team, a Mercedes affiliate and team of former world champion Nico Rosberg. Kimi drove the wheels off the car, winning the WSK Champions Cup and South Garda Winter Cup. The Rock Cup International final victory would prove to Mercedes that this was the best signing they made. Well, apart from Lewis, but Hamilton was brought up through the McLaren youth system. A string of top 5 performances in 2019 and the young Italian was promoted to the senior classes for the 2020 season. Again, he won the European Championship and WSK Euro Series, both of these on debut leading to a chance in Formula 4. A reasonable season saw him finish 10th in the championship, but a close battle with future F2 teammate Ollie Behrman was enough to convince Mercedes to enter him into the F3 Championship. By 2023, Kimi was driving in F3, where he not only won the championship but dominated, taking 11 podiums. His victory at Zandvoort tipped the scales in his favour for an F2 seat, especially with the guy in P2 finishing a whopping 12 seconds behind. Despite finishing only 6th in the 2024 Formula 2 World Championship, a stunning twist of events unfolded. First, Lewis was snapped up by Ferrari, leaving a vacant seat at McLaren. The British outfit had no idea who to choose, but after careful consideration, Toto Wolff announced that Antonelli would be driving for Mercedes in 2025. That brings us to why you're probably watching this video, to find out exactly what makes Kimi Antonelli so great. Kimi Antonelli in F1. Despite only finishing P6 in the Formula 2 World Championship, the young Italian put up a few incredible performances. Judging by his competition, the likes of Ollie Behrman, Liam Lawson and Gabriel Bortoleto, he did a great job for his limited age and experience. Now at Formula One and heading into one of the worst races ever in Australia, no one figured Antonelli would perform the way he did. Drivers like Bortoleto, Hadjar and even an experienced Oscar Piastri had a few mishaps on the streets of Melbourne, but not Antonelli. It didn't only start in P16, but Antonelli fought his way through the pack. He capitalised on every mistake, finishing P4 behind teammate George Russell. This was incredible for his debut race. Antonelli followed this up with P6 finishes in both China and Japan, definitely sending a message, especially given the fact that he is so incredibly close to his teammate. If you look at the standings of only the rookies, Kimi is miles ahead of anyone else. But don't get us wrong, we understand that Bortoleto and Hajar might not be in the best cars to challenge a Mercedes. But what about Lawson, who failed at Red Bull, and even Yuki, who couldn't even come close to Kimi at Suzuka? Essentially, the young Italian is distancing himself from the other rookies, but having George as a teammate is also a stroke of brilliance from Mercedes. Given his consistency in always pushing the car to its limits, Kimi is learning from a driver who has so much to give back. But why do we compare him to some of the legends, and is there any merit to it? Oscar did something similar, but no one called him the next Michael Schumacher. Why Kimi Antonelli can no longer be ignored. Look back at the careers of Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen and Ayrton Senna. None competed in the F1 specific junior competitions, but keep in mind that none of it was truly sanctioned and organised the way it is today. All three of these drivers won various championships, completely obliterating opponents. Meanwhile, other drivers like Charles and Lando were never truly the greatest in their junior competitions. So far, every driver who's been incredible coming through the ranks has flourished. Just look at a young 17-year-old Verstappen testing his first F1 at Suzuka. On top of that, he actually won his first race in the third fastest car at the time while driving for Red Bull. He was 18 when this happened. Max was breaking record after record, continuing to push the bar higher for young drivers looking to come into F1. No one has had an answer, and absolutely no one could come close to his records. Despite Oscar being a great talent, he would have come close to driving for Alpine, who first signed him as a reserve driver. When he got the opportunity for McLaren, who also had the third best car on the grid, Oscar couldn't come close to Verstappen. But Kimi Antonelli has already broken one of Max Verstappen's records. At the Japanese Grand Prix, he became the youngest ever driver to lead a Formula One Grand Prix, and this will probably never be broken again. On top of this, the young Italian is 18 and already unafraid of anything in the sport. That is what experts call killer instinct. Drivers such as Max and Lewis all had this growing up, and you can probably see where we're going with this. Kimi will likely have a very long career in the sport, and partnering with George, who is still young considering drivers like Fernando and Lewis, will teach the young Italian a lot about the sport. Moreover, racing runs in his blood, and his father Marco being a standout performer whenever he hits the track. It kind of reminds you of the Verstappen father and son combination. Historically, drivers who come from a racing heritage have done well, even if their fathers never raced in F1. Have a look at Carlos Sainz, who was arguably done in by Ferrari. Give Kimi Antonelli the right car, and we'll see if the young man can compete when the pressure is on. He might not be as aggressive as Max, but this could all change when he realises what the prize is. But what do you think of the young Italian? Is he really that good? Make sure to tell us in the comments below, and please like and subscribe to our channel for more Formula One content.